Hey, everybody, we're live for another Echo Means Business IGTV Live. We'll do what we do here every week and give everybody a couple minutes to join us in the chat. And go ahead, tell us where you're from, where you're joining us from, and how your Monday is going here. I know it's Spring Rush. If you're listening live, it is May the 8th, and it's we're all busy, folks. It's that time of year. So go ahead, let me know where you're from, how your Monday's going, and get a few people in here. We'll get our guests in here, and then we'll start this thing off. Hey everybody, welcome to an Echo Means Business IGTV Live. Back for another fun week, and back to doing some more of these group episodes with some awesome guests. Last week was a fun solo episode. If you joined us live, we talked about taxes. Go ahead, comment in the chat. Let me know if you did anything with the actionable step about thinking about your taxes every day. Certainly a fun conversation. If not, go back, listen to it, and you can certainly send me a message. Let me know what you're thinking. But much more fun show this week. We've got a couple Echo Means Business Usury Advisory Group alumni, and they're going to be joining us to kind of do a part two of must-haves for an awesome season. We talked with Evan and Nick, who are current user advisory group members, a couple weeks ago, and they gave some excellent insight and tips. And I thought it'd be fun to bring back some old UAG members and get them on and let them share their opinions. And I was able to get a couple of very unique guests for tonight that will have some interesting insight. And, it's always good to get back with old members of the program. That's one of the beautiful things about this program kind of being a little bit of a legacy thing at this point, and having membership that's spanned many years is there's people who stay on every year, and then some people who move on for a myriad of reasons, and it creates the opportunity for new people to join us and give us some insight. And my point being, you end up with this wonderful group of alumni who've all quote unquote played on the team over the years. So we'll see what we can do. Get a couple people in here. Give me a minute momentarily. We'll get these guests on. Let's see. We've got one. And then we will get the other one on here in a moment. And there we go. How we doing, gentlemen?
Mike, how we doing? Paul, how we doing? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, Dylan. We're waiting for the thumbs up from Paul here. See if he can hear us and see us. You with us there, Paul?
Hey, what's
we see him, but we can't hear him. We'll work that out. And while we do, we've got Dylan Stevenson and Paul Jameson with us, and we'll start off with you, Dylan. Just go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll jump over to Paul real quick and see if we've got this mic situation resolved.
Yeah, so my name is Dylan Stevenson. Our company name is Brilliant Gardens, and we're based here in Springfield, Ohio. And our main focus is landscape design install and outdoor lighting. That is our main focus for work. So that's what we do.
Perfect. Yeah, and we're going to dive more into Dylan's story here in a minute because he's got a very unique perspective. All right, Paul, let's try this again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What's up, Adele?
I can hear you. You can hear me good?
Yeah, I could hear you the whole time.
All right, see, right on. We could see your face, we could see lips moving, but it was like lip reading a coach's words on sports. You're like trying to interpret what he did or didn't say.
You can hear me though?
Yeah, we can hear you. Except with you, we know there's no foul language in there, only positivity.
Yeah, only positivity. Dylan, he needs to be more positive to my Instagram reels, man. He's been hating on me.
Oh, shoot. What?
Well,
Mr. Positivity over there.
That's right.
Well, tell us more all about that. I was going to say, I don't know about this. So
You know, I was talking to Jeremy Jacobs about this the other day. There's certain videos in the algorithm, and Dylan's giving me a hard time because I posted the same video, according to him, 8 times, but I've posted it probably 20 times. Every single time I posted it, it gets on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of them, it gets a ton of views every single time. And I was talking to Jay Jacobs about this because he's got a video where he stripes his front yard. No matter how many times he posted it, goes viral every time. I got a funny I got a funny video of Jason Creole ghetto-ly mowing a front yard. It goes viral every time. So if I ever want to pick up my engagement, if I'm having a rough week, I just post a video, and then Dylan hates on me in the comments.
Well, all right. Well, at least we know what you guys are talking about, and leave it to Dylan to be the honest one among us who tells us how it is. So for the people who don't know you, Paul, which is probably very few of us, but just take a minute, tell us who you are, what you got going on, then we'll dive into tonight's fun topic.
Yeah, I have a podcast on Monday through Friday where I talk about entrepreneurship and just how to grow a business. And so we have 970 podcast episodes. I know I've interviewed you, Bedell, multiple times. Dylan's been on there 3 or 4 times. So I just talk to folks who have businesses and find out what they're learning and just share that information on the World Wide Web. So that's what I'm doing.
Perfect, man. And that is the Green Industry Podcast for those of you who haven't had a chance to listen. Like Paul said, going on almost 1,000 episodes. So there's endless learning, and that's kind of a preview for a show we're going to be having in a couple of weeks. It talks about things that we can do to maybe while we're sharpening blades or doing work out in the field, we can sharpen our mind as well. And certainly Paul's podcast is one of those amazing resources that we're very, very lucky to have in this industry that if my gray hair doesn't show it, that did not exist when I started out. And I had to kind of go through the school of hard knocks. And, I thankfully wasn't chucking the truck, as Paul would say, but I had to learn without that fun resource, and everyone's just so lucky to have that. So on that note, I think that's a great transition to get into tonight's topic, which is must-haves for a great season. So we'll start with Paul here. Since you talk to so many contractors on a daily basis just for your podcast, what's something that you are noticing that's like a new trend to 2023 that people are doing in their businesses, that maybe something that wasn't available or was, but people are capitalizing on it, that maybe people that are listening tonight or at a later date can maybe have a little golden nugget to start off with?
Yeah, well, you kind of had 2 questions in there. The first one is, what do you need to be successful? Is you need customers. So, we can talk about marketing later and how you get the best customers, but
sure.
I really think social media, there's so many ways to use social media. This is my second time. Jay Jacobs, you can send a check in the mail later, man. Shouted him out 2 times already. I asked him on my podcast when I interviewed Jeremy Jacobs, I said, how do you have such good employees? I literally have a picture of his crew on my refrigerator. He's got a great team. I said, how did you attract all these great people? Because on my podcast, people are griping and complaining. How do I find good help? There's a labor crisis. And I asked Jeremy, how have you done it? And he literally said through Instagram, because he shares his company work through Instagram, and people in the community follow him and watch it. And then people are like, man, I want to work for this company. And so I think finding your spot with social media, whether it's to attract better employees, whether there's a guy who used to listen to my podcast. His name's Al Blades. He was inspired to make videos mowing tall grass, and now he makes outrageous amount of money mowing tall grass on YouTube. And so I'm not saying everyone has to do what Al's doing. I can't mow tall grass. If I see a snake, I scream like a schoolgirl and I'm out of there. So
Me too.
Yeah.
Real quick, shout out to the Al Blades music video, because we do this every day.
You're in it.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
Alvarez
those,
is the man.
yeah, those are extremes. And like even Dylan last year when you were doing that backyard job, showing it on your Instagram stories, I was watching, I was following along. Like, so the trend is be on social media, especially Instagram and Facebook. That's where your customers are. If you mow lawns, take a good picture when you're done at the stripe. If you do what Brilliant Gardens is doing now, and you're doing these high level, landscaping jobs, show your work and get that out there on the internet. And then there's other, Al was a rarity where there's a handful of guys that call me behind the scenes. They're like, should I keep my lawn care business or should I go all in on social media because my social media is blowing up? And I was like, and sometimes I'm like, go all in on the social media for like Al and Kevin Hansen, the Juggernaut, and SB Mo, and these guys blew up. And so, anyway, find out how you can use social media to attract better customers, attract better employees, and there's even monetization opportunities out there. Shout outs to Echo. Your guys' TikTok's been showing up in my For You page. So,
Nice.
whoever's doing Echo's TikTok, you guys need a raise. You're doing good.
I'm sure they will appreciate that you just said that. We'll make sure that the HR and upper management goes ahead and then sees this little 30-second clip because I agree. More money for the good people at Echo. They're definitely worth every penny. They work way too hard, I think, and they're all behind the scenes. They don't get any of the love that some of the friendly faces on social media get.
We'll call it the clock app because if you mention that word on Instagram, our followers will go down.
Oh, really?
I have, oh yeah. So the clock. Wait, the clock app.
The clock app. All right. There's your golden nugget, guys.
Yeah.
You got to be careful what we say everywhere.
Melanie just put the bad word in the chat. Now our engagement's going to drop. The clock. Follow Echo on the clock, if you know what I'm saying.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Echo Means Business also has a TikTok here, or the clock, as we're supposed to say, right? The clock app. The clock app. Cool. All right. So Dylan, real quick before I kind of pose the same question to you, I thought it'd be cool to just build everybody's context because in the time we've known each other, you've really kind of gone through quite the hero's journey of where you started out at to where you're at today. So maybe you could just like take 5 minutes or whatever it takes to just kind of break down where you went from driving the truck to making Brilliant Gardens.
So it has been a full spectrum, I guess, from one end to the other, really. So short story long, I was working full time and started the business. I was delivering for Gordon Food Service. That kind of was able to give me the opportunity to do what I did because of my schedule and the money I was making. It made it to where we was able to just kind of put everything away for growing the business. Eventually got it to a point where the business wasn't going to grow any farther than what it was because I was still working full time. So eventually took the leap of faith. And it was definitely a leap of faith because like looking back, I'm like, we really didn't have much of a business going on, but I didn't really let that stop me. I just had this vision and goal in my mind of what kind of work I wanted to do, what kind of company I wanted to start up. And so then we just evolved from being the mow blow guy to dabbling in a little bit of landscape work at the same time. Then the landscape started taking over from the mowing. And now we rebranded the company. We were Solo Cuts Landscaping. It was cute when it was there. But then now we rebranded the company recently this year to be Brilliant Gardens, and we no longer do any mowing service, any lawn care. The only lawn care part we do is it's subbed out for our commercial stuff so we can keep them for snow or like our HOAs and stuff. So outside of that, it's strictly landscape design install. We do some natural stone work. We do some natural stone retaining walls. I really like that more than I do just a standard, retaining wall. But then outdoor lighting is, I have really grown a big love for outdoor lighting and for multiple reasons, but the outdoor lighting has really been something that we've really came along with. So we've gone from the part-time guy to now we're full on the design install, and we're doing some projects I never really thought some of the projects we're doing and have coming in, it's just I never expected to be doing something like this. So it's I almost feel like I'm doing some like Mike Bedell stuff now.
Oh, you're in a league of your own now, Dylan. I think the one of the nicest compliments you could get is one of our UAG members, Paul Camara, saying, "I love watching Dylan's business evolve. Great job."
Oh
You
man.
have
Yeah,
industry
that's an
icons.
honor. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is an honor to get something like that. So I appreciate that one, Paul. He is the GOAT. That guy, if to have and that's the thing too, is like, we're maintaining our landscapes that are new installs. You know what I mean? His installs he's been maintaining for 10, 15, 20 years. Like we're typically ripping out an install that's at that point because it's not been maintained correctly. Well, his still got another 20 plus years ahead of it as long as he's got his hands on it. So it's like, that's where me and another buddy of mine, Jesse with Widener Landscape Solutions, he's just about 40 minutes west of me. And we both talk about we're just like, we can't wait till our landscapes are those 10-year marks where we're dealing with like mature landscape that's been maintained the whole time. And that's the point of the season where I'm really anxious for. So that's why I'm jealous of Paul, because those mature landscapes, man, he's got them dialed in quite well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So I'll ask you the same question, Dylan, that I asked Paul Jameson here, and especially, and that's why I wanted you to kind of cue it up for everybody, because you've changed what you're doing this year, so that might kind of make it easier to answer the question. What's new or different that you're doing in 2023? I'm sure there's maybe a few things you've had to do just because you've changed the business.
Yeah, so leading up to changing the business and as our business name and our services we offer, it was all about, like you hear other folks saying it, you get known for more that you do, so more that I share. So because I knew lawn care was not my end goal, I never really posted any content of it, really, like especially on like Facebook, you know what I mean? Because that's where like Instagram's more for the social aspect, I feel like. We get some like local folks, I'd say the younger crowd, that they follow us on Instagram, but for the most part, like Facebook, like I'm not going to be sharing mowing unless it's like a commercial account or something to get the commercial aspect out there. But I just would always share the content of our landscapes and our lighting, and that's just now we're getting known for. Like I don't know if I've even gotten 5 calls for lawn care this year. So everything we're getting calls for is that design install work. We get some maintenance stuff, but for the most part, it's a design install work. And I'm not mad about that. It's nice to do maintenance. There's great opportunity for maintenance. But for the most part, it's I'm getting calls for what I want to do and what we're, I think, getting known for, and the projects and the scales and like the clients we're working with are just continuing to continue to grow and head in the right direction. So I'd say the biggest thing is just posting more of what we're known for. The website, we've got a new website done. Folks up there at Brandon Bull in your neck of the woods there designed us a beautiful, it turned out better than I could ever imagine. And it's still we have professional photographer coming into our jobs this year, so that way we can upload those pictures onto our website. So with that, our website being nothing but the design install work, we do obviously offer landscape maintenance and stuff. But with that being our focus, I think that really, once people click our website, they know what we do. It's without a question. So it's just continuing to just share what we do. That's what we do.
Wow. I like that. I like that there's a little bit of a symbiotic nature in both of your comments there. That's a very good takeaway for everybody, is that the answer is to put yourself out there more, because the more you do it, the more good things will come back to you.
Yep.
So that's great insight. We've got a couple good questions here in the chat before we circle back to Jameson for the next question. Josh Curvin wanted to know, Dylan, did mowing, when you cut that, did that really hurt you financially, or are you making good enough money in the new stuff that you're doing that it's like what mowing?
Yeah. So we never had a huge mowing route to begin with. I think the most clients I ever had mowing wise was between 30 and 35. So we never had like a huge mowing route. It was like 2.5 to 3 days, like when conditions are good. Obviously spring rain, that 2.5 days, whatever, turns into 4 like that. So to be honest, dropping the mowing wasn't that big of a hit because of how much landscapes was like our main source of income in a sense. So now that we dropped it, the income and cash flow has gone up because the springtime we're able to capitalize on all that landscape work that I wasn't able to when I was mowing because mowing was eating up my schedule.
Sure.
So say for instance, we get started with stuff in April and we start mowing in April. If we were to be mowing in April, last year we were on the same project. It was that backyard one that Fullerton came and did a tour of.
Yeah.
I was on there for like a full month because the weather was terrible. I mean, it was terrible. So like we've completed 6, 7 install projects through April and to this point now. So it's like we're way ahead of the game of what we were. And so like to be able to just not worry about mowing, focus on the landscape end, I'm able to manage a schedule better personally and in the business. So it was just exactly what needed to happen at the right time. Like I thought I was ready last year. Got a little nervous, kept on to it, and it was good. It was a good thing I think we did. But this year, I think just the stars aligned, and it was just the right time for it all. So it's worked out great since we've done it.
Good for you, man.
Blessed to be that opportunity. So.
Yeah. Well, you also put yourself in the spot to do it and worked your way there. So
yep,
that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so Mr. Jamison. What's the next must-have that people should be thinking about for this spring? I know you've got so many that have come up on your podcast, but give us the next good one off your list.
Yeah, must-have customers, and that's how we have revenue in business. No matter what your business is, we need customers. So Dylan mentioned his website. That's marketing. Like you need a marketing. In the 1920s, they had a rule called the sevens of marketing, where they would come out with a movie, and their goal was to have their movie touch, potential viewers 7 times. And so they would plan their marketing strategy. Well, if we buy a piece in the newspaper, we can get touches that way. If we do a radio ad, again, it's 1920s, then, we could touch them again. So eventually, to get a customer warm enough that they've heard about your movie so many times, maybe word of mouth, the radio, the newspaper, after that 7th point, it's like the tipping point, then they're going to be like, you know what, Friday night, I'm going to go see that new movie. So whether you have a lawn business, a landscaping business, any business, you need customers to know, like, and trust you. So Dylan mentioned how he has an excellent website now. So that's one touch point. We've already talked about Facebook. If you're in a community like Dylan, most of those people are on Facebook. There's Facebook micro targeted ads where you can actually, it's way better than every door direct mail, because EDDM could send it to an apartment complex or to someone who's not going to be a customer. You can go on Facebook now and you can actually draw a map of the exact neighborhood that you want to run your Facebook ads in. And the list goes on and on of ways to do marketing. Door hangers still work. Postcards still work. There's the tried and true, but you have to be an aggressive marketer. I just had Brian Fullerton on my podcast today, and I told him, I said, Brian, you're a world-class marketer. Like, he is so good at marketing, it's ridiculous. Both from his lawn business, Brian's Lawn Maintenance, and from his Lawntrepreneur Academy. The guy's a marketing machine, and he's hitting you in so many different ways, through the email, through the Instagram, through the Facebook, through the whatever. So to be successful in 2023, you need customers. To reverse engineer that, you need to market to those customers. And so having a well-rounded plan that's more than just word of mouth referrals, but having all of it well, the website well, the Google business profile well, your social media on point, especially Facebook. Facebook's the most important thing in our industry. Instagram's in second, and get all of that in order. Get your marketing foundation strong so that you can get customers. And the great thing about lawn care and landscaping is no matter who's in office, no matter what's going on politically, socially, the biology of the grass is going to grow in 2024. We got a big old election year next year, right? Things are going to be crazy. The grass is going to grow. People need their grass cut. People are going to want landscaping, their bushes trimmed. And so I don't want to say we're recession proof. If these people get squirrely, it could get messed up. But for the most part, we have one of the best industries to be in because things are growing. Things are living organisms and growing. So you need to be aggressive with marketing. And I think that's so important to stay your foot on the gas, marketing your services so that you can keep customers coming. So that's something that I personally am trying to become better at. And I think is important in general is to stay aggressive with marketing when things are good.
That's a very, very good point. It made me think of what I heard someone say once where like what you're suggesting is that it's not just like one component of the marketing that's going to take it home. It's all of them working together. And I heard someone say it's a lot like good marketing is a lot like a 6 or an 8-cylinder engine. And if you want top performance, you're only going to get it if all the cylinders are firing and firing properly, versus if like you have an 8-cylinder engine and you have 1 or 2 that aren't firing or are misfiring, you're still going to go down the road. You're not going to like epically fail. You might still get some new customers, but like you will get passed up, and you'll not be able to have the same results as an engine that is firing on all cylinders. So I think that's a really good takeaway for everybody, because I think we all get guilty of focusing too much on one singular thing, good, bad, negative, marketing thing. Oh, I need a new lawnmower. And we kind of forget about all the other things because we're caught up dreaming about the new mower or the new truck or just one particular issue in the business. But in reality, success is the culmination of all things. So very, very well said there, Paul. That's an awesome takeaway. Dylan, do you got anything to add to that before I see a couple questions for you I want to get from the chat that we got here?
Yeah, I would just say like in regards to what Paul was saying on like just hitting people at different areas, but also like he mentioned the Google business listing and your website. So like, we spent good money on our website that we have now, but I also created my first website by myself on Squarespace, so it may not have been like the end all website, but it is something out there. And another thing is like, I treat like a Google business listing more importantly than like my social media, to be honest. The reason why is I feel like, personally, I feel like especially now we're focusing on the higher end clients, because like of what services we're offering are a higher ticket item of what we're doing now. So I feel like those higher end clients are going to be searching on Google. They are going to be looking for your website. They're going to see it so we're members of the Better Business Bureau. There's another accreditation point. So I feel like they're more focused on those type of avenues of trying to figure out a company more than they are like, say, how many Instagram followers, not hating on the social aspect of that, but it's like I myself personally have focused more on website, Google business listing, getting those reviews, and just really hitting that, because I feel like that's where I have generated my largest customers from those more than I have like on the social aspect. I feel like Facebook just kind of is like a back end source to have, that you're staying up on, because folks do look at that, especially if they Google you, your Facebook page is going to pop up. But I think just like really focusing on working on getting those reviews, not to name drop him again, but my buddy Jesse Widener, I mean, he has like 60 some reviews. He ended up getting to that point last year, and this is his first spring going into with that many reviews, and like he has seen a really big uptick on like his quality of jobs that are coming in, like these really nice new builds he's a design install outdoor lighting person as well. So like you can tell like that grind to get those reviews, he's really starting to reap the benefits of, and he is doing some awesome work. awesome products too. So I really focus hard on the website and those Google reviews and that Google My Business. Constantly uploading pictures. We have probably approaching on 200 pictures on our Google Business listing. So I mean, we just that's where we hit hard. So.
Well, that's great. I can think of an experience I had in the past week where actually it was a client of mine of sorts. He was a small condo association in an upscale community, and he ended up buying the multi-million-dollar house next to it, having things done, and then moved there and just sold the townhouse a couple weeks ago. Townhouse, condo, whatever they are. And I think they are condos. They just like to be called townhouses.
Oh,
they charge them, right? They look like Brooklyn brownstones. They're kind of fun. And so anyway, he like knew who I was and wanted to bring me over to do his new place, but it was the first time we'd really interacted versus technically his other neighbor, the quote unquote president of the board, was the one who signed everything. So he'd never like really seen any contract or email or anything. And so when I sent him over everything, he did what everyone does and like checks me out, goes to the website, dumps my name into Google. And when I met with him, he goes, Michael, I got to tell you, we've known each other a year. I had no idea you do all this stuff. And I go, yeah? He goes, yeah, this is very impressive. And, he's someone who's a former vice president of a publicly traded company, and not someone. It basically meant a lot that someone like that is like, dang, look at you, and it just kind of reiterates Dylan's point there that like whether it's someone at that level or even just someone in the local neighborhood, that they're gonna check you out because it's just so easy. Like 20, 30 years ago, you had to kind of almost rely on that word of mouth referral of something you heard at the potluck or from your cousin or your aunt or something, or the neighbor next door, versus now, like, yeah, you can do that, but it's way easier to just type Dylan Stevenson or Brilliant Gardens or Paul Jameson into Google, Paul Jameson Atlanta, and see what shows up. And if it's you and a whole bunch of good stuff shows up, they feel really empowered, like, oh, I got the guy, I got to get the guy, especially as I know it's different in every market, but at least in my market, there's less of an influx of new people coming into the industry and more people getting out of it. It's turning into this musical chairs game where if you don't have someone by now, it's going to get really interesting for you to find somebody, because all of us are pretty full. And if someone new wants to get into the industry in Southeast Michigan, there's plenty of accounts for the taking right now. We are no longer competitors with each other in terms of lawn and landscape businesses, because it kind of feels like there's two accounts for every one of us. So it goes back to what Paul was saying, where now we got to put ourselves in front of the best clients for us, because the ball's in our court. It's up to us to get the best, highest paying, easiest to work with clients possible, versus if it was the other way, you got to get what you can get. So I think that's maybe a little nugget for everybody to take there. So Dylan, I see a comment here. People want to know more about all this landscape lighting. Just tell us a little bit more about that, since I've seen that become quite a large part of your business, and anybody who's followed you on Instagram or the Clock app might have seen that.
So outdoor lighting is something I always was interested in, but it was like it's almost like you don't know how to get into it until you just get into it. And it was like, we're doing these installs and I'm seeing folks that are doing lighting as well. And I'm like, you'd want to talk about like the icing on the cake for an install is when you bring in the aspect of lighting. It just completely changes like the way a landscape looks. And so once we started dabbling into it, man, it's like I don't want to say it's something like when you drink the cup and you're just hooked, but I'm telling you, we started installing it, and then I just started growing in love with it. Because then, so once I started really hitting it hard and started taking it more serious, because not just lighting up a house and just slapping a bunch of lights up. I went to a lighting summit. She was probably between $7,000 and $1,000 to go to, whatever, but it was put on by the lighting company we use. And you start to get around it's a 3-day summit, and you get around these folks that are literally doing nothing but landscape lighting. When we sell our last install was a beautiful install. It's our largest one we've done yet. But when you're selling these installs, I'm thinking like, oh man, it's good money for lighting, because a lot of folks, what they see at the big box store, they get 7 lights for $300 and they think that's the top of the line stuff. And you're like, that's the cost of one of our fixtures, So when you go to, I went to the summit and I'm talking with these folks that are just doing lighting, and like the way they view it and the way they design it and how they view a landscape. It's an art form. It's not just slapping lights up to light up a home. Like, it's really an art. So then when you start hearing how these people view it and you start taking it that way on our landscapes, that's why I can't wait for like our mature landscapes, because then we start really getting fun with the lighting, because we're able to get those really cool, unique looks from these landscapes, versus now it's more or less like, you are kind of more highlighting the home, maybe a specimen piece on the corners, but you're still mainly just lighting up the home because your landscapes are, 3, 5, 7 gallons. So, but anyways, it was just, once I started getting into it and I really started taking it more to an art than I was just putting lights up on a home, that's when it really gets fun. And then now we're starting, another company that I network with a lot, another Jesse I talked to, at Newview, Property Maintenance Hardscapes. I want to say like him and I are probably the only ones that actually advertise outdoor lighting. So my goal is to be, and if he's on here, heads up, I want to be known as I want to be known as a landscape lighting guy around town, like in our area. And that's what I want to be known for, is the guy that's putting in these outdoor lighting projects that people aren't used to seeing. So yeah, it's a love. I love it. I enjoy it. It's one of the best things that I do, not just because it also is a very nice ticket item to install, and you have some great margins on it. But when folks, they don't understand how good their home can look. They just don't understand. They're like, oh, it can't look like that. But wait, it can. Like, just let us work. It can definitely be that. And then when I always show them, like, for an install we do on lighting, it was funny. The one we just did, she thought it was like it was on a TV show. Because, like, before they get to see the full final reveal, because we'll come in, do our adjustments the night before or whatever, and then we'll finalize everything that next day. I tell them, like, hey, I'm going to bring you outside. Your home's going to be pitch black. You guys stand out front. I'm going to flip this transformer on. You guys are going to see the full deal. And it's like, when you get their reactions from that, and it is just so rewarding to see, because it's better than they ever could imagined, So yeah, I just really love. I could go on and on about it. I love landscape lighting, outdoor lighting.
And you're putting all the Jessies on notice that you're the only lighting guy in town.
That's right. No, they both do killer work. That's why I network with them, because that's another thing. Networking takes you farther than you can do by yourself. But that's why I call them out, because I network with them. Those guys are great people to have in the pocket. They've helped me get to the point where we are now, and I couldn't be more thankful for them. So that's why I give them a shout out.
Awesome.
And I got to keep them in check too. I got to keep them in line too. That's right.
That's awesome. That is great. Perfect. Well, hopefully that kind of answers the questions that the people in the chat had about the landscape lighting that you do. So we'll send it back to Paul Jameson here. You talk with all these different contractors. What are some KPIs or key performance indicators that you see contractors using, or that they should be using here in 2023?
Yeah, we definitely need a good set of financial eyes on your business. I have a personal bookkeeper, Megan and Joey Coberly, and I've been working with them for years. I think it's like 4-year threshold that we've crossed with them.
Sure.
So there's 3 reports. One is called a profit and loss statement. And I know that most of you are like, of course, but like there's a lot of guys that are their first year P&L. So you want to get your finances organized so your business money is flowing into your business account. You're not buying groceries out of your business account, so those numbers are pure and true. And you want to have the right categories. And so having an understanding of that profit and loss statement, I have friends that look at it every single day. I literally only look at it once a month with Megan and Joey. And we also look at the balance sheet and the statement of cash flows. But this is my KPI. And I'm not saying my way, there's not a right or wrong answer. But what I do is, and my bookkeepers are way smarter than me. Like they're looking into my numbers. And they've seen me for 4 years. Like they know what's in my personal accounts and my business accounts. They know everything. So they know what my break even is because they have enough history of my financials. So this is my break even. So every month I already have a goal. We're in May. I already have a goal for this month of what revenue I need to hit to break even. And for me, I gamify it. So it's like, how fast in the month can I hit my break even? Because after that, I'm working into the profit and I turn it into a game. It's like, it used to be, the 28th, 29th of the month, I'd cross that line. And now some months I hit it a lot sooner, and I try to hit it as soon into the month as I can. But I know my number, and I didn't figure it out, although my friend John Pajak can walk you through how to figure out your break even. But I know what I need to make to break even every month, and I know that because my bookkeeper tells me, they run the calculations. So for me, the key KPI is revenue, and I know what revenue I have. Now I'm frugal and I don't make a major purchase. I know this might sound restricting to some of y'all that are just, willy-nilly just running and gunning, making big purchases, but I don't make any big purchase unless Joey Coberly signs off on it. And so if I want to buy a new vehicle, I want to buy a new, I do, for some of you who don't know who I am, I do podcasting. So this stuff ain't cheap. If I want to buy a new podcasting board for the Green Industry Podcast or whatever, I'll ask Joey, hey, what do you think about, this new truck I'm thinking about getting? Literally, I had that conversation the other day. I was about to go buy a new truck, and they're like, I don't think so, Paul. And so anyway, I'm waiting. But they looked at the numbers, and they gave me their honest assessment that I'm being hasty. So I personally look at revenue, knowing that I'm frugal on the expenses. I know what my fixed costs are, and I keep things simple. But anyway, I would say knowing your numbers and hiring a professional. So I personally use Megan and Joey Coberly down in Pensacola, Florida. They're the best in my opinion, but hire somebody who's a competent professional that's going to look at your numbers and guide you, in how to make those smart financial decisions. So
very, very smart here. And looks like we got Dylan back here maybe. All right. We got him back in here. And Paul just kept going. This was perfect. I was the one that no one would have known if I didn't even mention it.
I don't know what was going on.
Aren't listening live. But anyway.
I started hearing double of his. Like it was echoing back and forth. So I was like, okay, I got to, so that's why I backed out and hopped back on. Perfect. Sorry. I don't know what happened.
No worries. No worries. No, that's actually, I'm so glad you said that, Paul, because we actually talked about that exact same thing on last week's episode where we talked about things that the top 50 companies in America do for taxes or otherwise that we should be doing in our own business. And that was one of them, is that they don't just go get an asset, whether it's a truck or piece of equipment or building, without understanding how they're going to depreciate it, how they're paying for it, when they plan on selling it. And they put this whole plan together before they even go buy anything. And it far too many of us, see good things at an Equip Expo or our local dealer, and we just got to have it. And unfortunately, far too many of us don't understand how that's going to be taxed or what those things really mean, let alone can you really afford it? Not just in the moment afford it, but can you afford this like a month from now or 3 months from now? Are you robbing Peter to pay Paul, as they say? So, yeah, no, that is an excellent point. And, I think to wrap up on the KPIs there, you've got your P&L. I look at a budgets versus actuals every day. Certainly there's your statement of cash flow, and I'm a big balance sheet guy. I've been very intentional on what I've been doing with my balance sheets and my different companies over the past couple of years. Heading into this banking situation or otherwise. So, your balance sheet certainly kind of ties them all together, in my opinion. So, for those who are asking about KPIs, hopefully those are something that you guys are looking at, and if not, something you should be, and certainly there's excellent resources, whether it's a bookkeeper like Paul recommended, or I know Paul and I have both done work with QuickBooks Online over the past handful of years, and so there's certainly opportunities there for everybody to dive deep into their numbers, and there's no excuses.
Can I add one more thing to that, Bedell?
Yeah, please.
My winning combo is, so I have QuickBooks Online and I have the app on my phone. So
Nice.
Megan
Me too.
is my bookkeeper. She'll annoy you because she's like on top, like everything has to be documented. So if I go to Costco and get gas, I then take a picture of my receipt in QuickBooks Online, and now it's documented. And then she likes to use Jobber, and so you like them Jobber cheeseburgers, Bedell?
Love them. I had one earlier today.
Yeah, they're
so
good. So so anyway, I have the receipt goes into QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online is connected to Jobber, and then my bookkeeper is overseeing all of that, which is connected to my business checking account. So everything is squeaky clean, is organized, and I know my true numbers and my financial health of my business. Now, I'm in year, I think, 14 as an entrepreneur, and I have the most peace of mind that I've ever had, because financially things are, I'm paying attention, and there's margin, and it's so much better than when I was running around like a chicken with its head cut off. And I was stressed out about money, and I was worried, and I was like, just like you said, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And it was a disorganization. And so now I know my numbers. I have people way smarter than me kind of as guardrails saying, hey, don't do this, do this. And it's awesome. And so knowing your numbers is a game changer.
I was just going to say, here's my bin of receipts that have got to get scanned in from just the past handful of days. I think there's like 15 transactions waiting for me in QuickBooks. I'm probably actually going to do it tonight after this chat. I've got a whole bunch of numbers stuff to do. I'm going to make a cup of coffee and maybe put on a little playoff hockey and make it happen. Because that's the kind of guy I am.
That's right.
Maybe I'll finish this delicious Elate one for any of you that have indulged down in Kentucky at the Equip Exposition and know about the delicious ways of Kentucky's finest beverage, Elate one. Have any of you guys, have either of you had an Elate one before?
So wait, so it's not called Ale?
No. See, there's the tiny little, see the little one right here? It's Late one.
Oh man, I've been saying it wrong for a while. Not that I've had too many in my life, but yeah, that I did not know. I did not catch on to that. So pardon me.
Yeah, there you go. How about you, Paul? Have you had the finest ginger ale in all the land? Late one.
Never even heard of it.
It's good. You'll love this story. It's right up your alley. In middle school, I went on a couple Appalachian mission trips with my local church down to Kentucky to help out some families that were in need. And when you're doing construction work or what have you, you got to swing through the local up here. They're called party stores or drug stores or little gas station to get your bag of chips and your pop and your Gatorade and your water. All the stuff that you're going to do in middle school to kind of make the day a little bit more fun. And somebody who'd been before was like, oh man, you got to try this the late one. And I'm thinking like, well, I like Verner's because I'm from Michigan, so
Yeah.
how could it be better than Verner's? And I won't say it's better, but it's different. Verner's has got like a bite to it versus this is some smooth Southern drinking, and it's good stuff, So for those of you that have had it, cheers to a late one. That's awesome. All right, so that was we were talking about KPIs while you hopped off there, Dylan. Is there any that you use in your business on like a daily, weekly basis? Anything in like QuickBooks or something like that you want to share?
Yep. So we have a bookkeeper as well, local bookkeeper for us. I've been working with them for a couple of years now. It's been nice. So I probably actually started with them sooner than technically what I needed to, but it was all about like keeping the end goal in mind. I wanted to have like a process and system in place before we ended up before it's too late. And I was like, hey, you guys need to figure out how our business runs and all these just the whole gamut of it. So we utilize them. They send reports to us as well. But because we have grown kind of like exponentially year after year, it's almost like every year is an adjustment based on what we did the year prior, because we went from doing 20, 30 grand a year to a few $100,000 a year. So throughout that transition, it's gone, things change, but I'd say now with say dropping the mowing was a big one. Basically got to the point where I was like, man, after looking at the end of the year, I'm like, we're not really making that much money at the end of the season after we think about how much time it's taking away from our schedule based off our landscapes. So once we started figuring up like when there's not much left to do at the end of the day, because I feel like mowing for the most part is a volume game. When we just didn't have the volume to justify even just the one mower and truck we were sending, like a mower, a truck, trailer, simple, lean, okay? But gas prices last year were at an all-time high. So, when you start seeing all like the fuel you're just dumping, the miles you're dumping, you start to realize like, man, is that really even worth it? So that's another thing now this year too. Like I can't wait to see at the end of the season what our fuel consumption was from this year comparative to last year by not having that mowing, which that is then money back in the pocket, not being forked out. So every year has been like an involvement. At the end of each year, we'll have our mid seasons, whatever. It's all about just dialing it in because like I said, we've just had so much growth year to year to year to where it's literally a changing thing on like how we're evaluating stuff. So, but that's a big reason though too of why we dropped the mowing, because we were just like, we're basically, we're paying up, paying our time for our employees and stuff and putting a little bit in the pocket at the end, but is it really worth the little bit that we're getting? It's not. So that's why we make the adjustment we did. And, I think we're really starting to see the benefits of that now, but we're lean. I'm running lean and mean though. So that's the way we are doing it. So
Smart man. There's nothing wrong with being, lean and mean business, especially as Paul kind of mentioned. No one's entirely sure how the next couple years are going to go. We know we have an election coming up. We know that for sure. But all the things that transpire between now and then are certainly, a total toss-up. And I heard someone say recently, one of the only other consistencies isn't really that good. And it's that all the people that should know more about the economy because they're in positions of power than we do, all these super intelligent people have done a really awesome job of generally getting it wrong, at least in the short term, on a lot of things. And so not a lot of certainty, like compared to what we had a handful of years ago. When we were in the Great Recession, everyone kind of could agree that everything was crappy. And then coming out of that, everything was really good for a while. And then COVID happened, and everyone agreed that it was chaos. And then it was after COVID, and we could all, it's going to be great. And housing prices and inflation. And then now it's like, and then what?
mm-hmm.
So, no, it's Very, very good point to, you don't necessarily, I know we talked about this with Paul Kamara a couple of weeks ago, you don't necessarily have to grow this mammoth business to be successful. And you also don't have to just keep doing the same things over and over if better opportunities are at your door. And I think that's one of the reasons I really wanted to get Dylan on, is because he's done a good job, whether it was seeing an opportunity different than just driving truck a handful of years ago, and then seeing, taking what was a better opportunity in mowing and seeing that there were even better opportunities just right there in front of them, and being very tactful and mindful about how you did that. You've not just gone at it alone. You've had, besides all your friends in the industry cheering you on, you talked about how you have a bookkeeper, and that's been reiterated by Paul here, where having a team around you that's holding you accountable, but also being really honest about, yes, you can do this, or no, Paul, you cannot get a truck right now. Those are good conversations to have, even if they're not the conversations that you want to hear or think you want to have. So, Paul, anything to add to that?
No, that's really good.
Cool. Well, I was gonna say, if you want, we can kind of land the plane there. If either of you don't have anything much more to add on must-haves for season, Dylan, anything you want to kind of add here?
I would just say, like I hinted at earlier, network with folks in your area. Like, I've been able to connect, and even like with Bedell, like I've been able to connect with folks that, we're like the one Jesse Newview. He is direct in he lives 5 minutes from my house. His shop is the other 5 minutes. And his guys even say like how cool it is that him and I work together, no big deal. Like when it comes to snow, whether it comes to our install work, like I use him as a subcontractor on some of our hardscape stuff that's well beyond what I want to do, because I'm like, I can come, like that is their expertise. I have my expertise. He can take care of the hardscape. It's my job, take care of the hardscape portion. Benefits him, benefits his guys. I come in, do my softscapes lighting. It's a great dynamic. I mean, we're constantly talking back and forth. It's funny because like we'll even be bidding the same jobs, and we'll be like, hey, are you on this bidding this job as well? Yep, sure am. All right, well, this is what we're going to go for. This is what we're going to do. And that's that. I mean, there's nothing about trying to one up the other person. Like we always talk about all the time, like we're going to try and take over Springfield, him and I, like his company, my company, we're going to be the ones taking it over. And just like I said, they just have the right mindset. The other Jesse as well, Widener Landscape Solutions. We're in this like the same boat when it comes like our design install work. He's a couple years ahead of me, so I'm taking his brain on like moves that he's done as he's gone. When it comes to the design work, we're both throwing it back and forth. Like, what would you do here? What would you do there? So like I said, it's just networking with folks can just take you so much farther than what you can do with yourself. Just I would say just be mindful of who you're networking with and who you're picking information from, and you should be that should help you in the right direction.
Cool. Well, we've got a good question in here from the Plant Movement Podcast. They asked, should we let what's going around the world take our focus off of the next move in our business? So that's an excellent question, and it cues into perfectly our actionable step for today. And it comes from one of my mentors, Tyler Wilson, and he all the time talks about just trying to be 1% better at something in your life every day. And one of my other mentors, Annie Tanner, he talks about being 0.5% better at something that you're focused on every day. And so I think that that might be the best way to answer your question and give everyone their actionable step for this week. And that's to find something in your life that you could become 0.5% better at every single day. And if you can do that, you'll end up being over 100% better at it in the next year. And that's quite an impressive gain. And so hope that's something that you guys can do in your businesses over the next day, week, month, or a year. Is just try and find something, and it could also be in your personal life that you could just be a 0.5% better on. Paul, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, in the comments, what's up to Willie Rodriguez and Paul Camaro, the guys down there. So the Plant Movement Podcast, that's A's Ornamental. That's down there in the free state of Florida, man. I turn off the news and focus on building your business, man. Focus on serving your customers. Florida's a great state to be in. Willie's crushing it down there. So I truly think that, I was at the gym today, Bedell and Dylan, and I was at the gym twice today.
Nice.
Yeah, doing
Nice.
2-a-days, anyway. So I go in the morning and I run on the elliptical for 30 minutes. And I go back at some point in the day and do weight training. But anyway, I was at the gym and they had the dang news channel on the screen. And my eyes were glancing up there. And obviously they're a business and they make their money off of advertising. So the more viewers they can get, the more advertising they can make. And so I'm sitting there watching the news and I'm all like bent out of shape. I'm like, oh my gosh. Woo! I was like, what the heck? Because I never watched the news. And so they had me, man. I was on that 30-minute until this. Anyway, a girl walked in the gym and my attention shifted.
That's a better focus anyway.
Yeah.
That's a better
So
thing.
I was anyway, I got to be careful because you never know who follows you on Instagram these days. Someone could be watching this. But anyway, in my little amount of time watching the news, my emotions literally became fearful. And you're running a business, and Willie's running a multi-million-dollar business, or even if you're running you're just a truck in the truck, we got to stay in our lane. Turn off the stupid news. Don't listen to them jokers putting fear on us to make money. Do I think things aren't going to get tough and volatile? No, I think I'm realistic. I know tough times are ahead, but that can't derail me from serving my customer. So I'm laser focused on identifying who my target customer is and marketing to them, and then doing a good job to get their repeat business. So I would say turn off the news and make your customers super happy.
Yeah, and I something to add to that is, you can't beat the local relationships that you have. Like a lot of, I see our buddy Knight 9938 talks about like the local news, and that's part of what I'm talking about. But even knowing your local bank manager, knowing all the managers of the suppliers that you deal with. Because if things do get a little weird or tight or unexpected things happen, the people that know each other and look out for each other always end up all right, versus the "I'm sorry, who are you" crowd. You've left to fend for yourself. So I think that you got to focus on just moving forward. But as part of that, I think there's a level of prudence that we all should have in terms of making sure we have money in multiple locations and access to different liquidity, whatever is necessary in your business by whatever means. I think I've shared I prefer more to be in a cash position, but for some people it's access to lines of credit or what have you. I think just be smart. Make sure that everyone around you has your best interests at heart if possible, but otherwise, let everybody else get all worked up. I think Paul said it best there is the society is just trying to play on your emotions for advertising profit or otherwise, when in reality, leave everybody else behind who's caught in the chaos. And if you just keep focusing on you and like we talked about, being a 0.5% better, I think you'll be amazed and everyone else will be amazed at where you're at and they're not. Paul, you look like you're going to ask that.
I would say, and I know I'm preaching to the choir with you, Bedell, but I would live frugally. Like, don't be living high on the hog. Like, live on less than you make, below your means. And, like I said, serve our customers, make our customers happy. And there's so many people that are winning so big right now. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. It's the people. In fact, we're going to talk about this in like a month or so. I think we've got Lord willing, if we get to continue doing these, we'll actually talk about economic cycles, and I think that's something that entrepreneurs, whether it's green industry or otherwise, we find a passion and we want to share it with the world, and that's a very wonderful thing. But sometimes there are greater forces at play. And you may have heard the saying, timing is everything. And we're going to talk about, what timing is and what timing isn't. And, nothing is perfect and nothing is 100%. But, in the stock market, they talk about the adage, you want to buy low and sell high. And so buying everything at the peak in a panic is not a very good investment strategy, nor is hope. Hope is not an investment strategy. It's perfect for the world of faith and religion, but just getting willy-nilly out there and then hoping it all ends up all right is truly a Jesus take the wheel moment, is it not? So cool, Dylan, we got you back here. Anything else? Otherwise, we'll land the plane.
Nope. That's all good. I would just say, like, real quick, in regards to like what's going on in the world. There's things you can control, things you can't control. Try to keep your hand on more of the things you can control. I don't watch the news. I'm like the least political person you ever meet. And I just stay in my lane and do my thing. And I feel like I've been doing that here for a few years now, handful of years, and it's gotten me in a good spot. So I'm just going to continue navigating the course we are and just being smart. And, just obviously, I think if things do you have to keep a pulse on, like, if obviously you're going to know if things are weird because everyone's going to be talking about things getting weird. Like, that's all there is to it. So with that being said, it's just like, be smart with your purchases. Make sure you actually need it, not a want. I mean, $15,000 mowers, it's kind of crazy to me. So just keep your pulse and everything, but for the most part, just stay in your lane, do good work, keep good relationships, and I think you'll be fine.
D's Lawn and Landscape. Manage your money. Don't let your money manage you. Well said. Well, you know that guy, Paul? You guys friends?
No. Yeah, I know D's. He's blowing up on Instagram. This thing pops up in my feed every day. D's Lawn and Landscape. I see him in my reels.
I've seen him a little bit, but I was like, I don't know the person personally yet, but hopefully that's what Equip is for. Assets over liabilities. Sounds like my kind of character. I like this guy. So cool. Well, real quick, Dylan, where can people connect with you?
Best way to do it is obviously here on Instagram is more of the social aspect. So reach out on Instagram here. Give us a follow. You'll see more of the day-to-day stuff behind the scenes. When we're doing these projects, I try to bring it along as well, just to keep everyone in the loop and showcase what we're doing. Feel free to reach out to me on Brilliant Gardens on Instagram. You can check out our Facebook page. Like I said, most part that's more business stuff than anything. Check out our website, but yeah, Instagram, that's where you'll find me.
Perfect. And you, Mr. Paul, where can everyone find you?
On all the major platforms, on the Clock app. Think about it. The Clock app. on Instagram, on the other app, You app, and on Facebook. Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same company, Meta, but their competition is the Clock app and the other app. So they don't want you leaving. See, the longer we're on Instagram, the more ads they can run to us. The longer we're on Facebook, so they punish us in the algorithm if you tell someone about the other ones. But I'm on all of them. And I also have a new book, Mike, that I wanted to announce, because in this book, originally, it's called The Lawn Care Advantage. I was going to write a book on Know Your Numbers. But when I went to Amazon, someone beat me to the idea. There's already a book on Know Your Numbers. I was like, oh, man. But I asked my bookkeepers, Megan and Joey, if they would contribute to the book. So they wrote from their perspective, and they have 36 clients that all either own a landscaping business or a lawn care business. They only take on lawn care and landscaping businesses. So the book should have been titled Know Your Numbers, but I can't, I was already taken. So they literally contributed and helped write part of this book. So if you've been wanting to know how to know your numbers, get the Lawn Care Advantage. And you guys both mentioned the slight edge principle. Like if you draw a straight line but one line a little bit at an angle, even though they look like they're going to the same one, over time, that little line that's off will go different, the slight edge. So if you need an edge with knowing your numbers, definitely check out this book. It will add value to your life. I guarantee it. So check that out.
Our friend at Mission Lawn Service LLC asked, is your new book going to be on Audible?
Yeah, Mr. Producers, it's 34 chapters long. I think he's on chapter 20. He tries to do like one chapter a day. He's got a lot going on. So he's narrating it. And as soon as he's done, it will be on Audible, narrated in Mr. Producer's voice.
Well, that'll be fun. He's got a good voice for that. I think that'll be really excellent. Really excellent. So maybe like a month or two on Audible, because it takes like, after he gets it done and put together, it takes like sometimes it's like a couple days, sometimes it's a couple weeks for it to appear. Is that still a thing on Audible?
Yeah, Amazon bought Audible, but our friends at Audible still run Audible, so it's not as efficient. So when Mr. Producer submits it to Audible, it will they send us an email to say your audiobook will be published in 30 business days. So the audiobook might not be out till June, but it really is, guys. Like, I'm really, really excited because I went and I interviewed 13 of the best landscaping companies I know of and had them share their story. North Point Outdoors was one of those. They have 100 employees. They do $1 million a month and just an immaculate, efficient operation. So I shared, like, here's what, a company doing 18 million a year, here's the efficiencies that we have. And anyway, if you need motivated, check out the Lawn Care Advantage. So perfect.
Well, that's awesome. I highly recommend everyone go and get that and some of the other resources and books that Paul has. We're very lucky to have someone like that who's a wealth of knowledge and is so passionate about sharing that with the industry to the betterment of us all. And we're also lucky because he's an Echo UAG alumni, as is Dylan. So want to thank our alumni for joining us on this must-haves for a good season 2.0 on Echo Means Business IGTV Live. Next week, we've got personal wellness and safety on the job, topics that are near and dear to my heart. And for former UAG alumni Jordan Yoder, as we say in Michigan, stay safe, because he thinks it's really dangerous here. Inside joke for everyone. He confronted Brian at Fullerton and I, because we kept telling everyone to just like stay safe. It's kind of like a nice euphemism to end anything. And he was concerned for our safety because he thought maybe it was really dangerous where we were. And we were literally wishing everyone to stay
Be safe.
So,
like, I feel like it's common courtesy around here. Be safe.
Be safe. Might need that if you stay at the Red Roof Inn down in Quick, right, Paul?
I booked my hotel. I'm staying at the Galt House this year.
Are you? I stayed there a couple of years ago. It is a nice place.
We're having the rally is the event on Thursday night. I think Echo usually sponsors it.
They do.
Plug our friends at Echo. It's going to the Yum Center, so it's going to be at the main like basketball arena where the Louisville Cardinals basketball team plays. The rally was at Copper and Kings last year, but it's moving to the Yum Center. So you want to stay at one of those hotels downtown, because then you can just walk to the rally on Thursday night, which is just a group of us just get together and have dinner. So it's going to be in the Yum Center this year.
Perfect. Yeah, that's they're definitely have some new and exciting ways of doing things this year, and I think it's going to be very, very, very fun. I'm looking forward to it, even though at a moment, it seems many months away. We all know how fast the summer flies by when we're busy, and it will be here soon enough. So, friend of the show, Melanie, says the golf is nice. So there we go. I myself am staying in the same area. I'm looking forward
The
to
Omni Hotel, the Marriott, the Golf House. You want to stay at one of those three.
Yep, agreed. I've stayed at all three of those. I stayed at the Omni last year, and it is very nice. It's very, very, very nice. I will say I stayed there a handful of years ago, and like no one knew about it, and it was so easy with the valet parking because it's kind of your only option there. Versus last year, everybody was at the Omni, and that was a little bit of a lesson learned in the parking situation. So there you go, your little +1 tidbit for the night as we land the show. So I'm Michael Bedell, owner of Bedell Property Management. Big thanks to Dylan Stevenson and Paul Jameson for joining us tonight. You guys be safe, and we will see you next week on Echo Means Business IGTV Live, Mondays at 7 p.m. Take care. Be safe, guys.
See y'all. Have a good one.
Hey, practice that
Be
golf
safe,
game,
bud.
Dylan.
Hey, you call me anytime, Paul. Let's play.
If I move
Let's play.
down to Florida, I move in July 10th. So if I move down to Florida, maybe you can come down in the winter and we can tee it up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. See
All
ya.
right. See you guys. Have a good one now.
Take care, guys.